Greetings, tiny gamers! Allow me to introduce myself, Sir Krabby Jones, the second and a half. This is the very beginning of this channel. I must admit I have little to none of any relevant experience to content creation, video editing, or anything of this kind. However, here at Crabtastic Company, we will still try our best. And by chance, if you do have any feedback, be sure to make it known, for any advice, too, would be more than helpful. Now, to begin the very first adventure, we begin our journey is one of the very first games we have encountered in our youth. Anno 1602. Now, I must admit it's been a while, but we are here to at least try our best. In this particular case, we are playing with a custom map mod, Ves's Terra Nova, a huge archipelago with enormous custom islands, very annoying pirates, reinforced native tribes, and hopefully friendly neighbors. As we are getting ready to sail, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment of what you think. Thank you! Our name? Sir Krabby, of course. Let's get ourselves a wonderful red. Now, we begin as always in the center of the map. And, as per usual, Anno 1602 experience, we get the little ship. Suppose we work with what we got, eh? Now, our very first task is find the suitable island. And I do know just the right fit for us. Now, while there is a lovely selection of many huge islands, we shall indeed grab the northeast one as damn quickly as we can. For at Crabtastic Co., we waste no time. Or try not to.
1 hour later.
And our ship has almost arrived! Now, what do we see here? Native tribe. And would you look at those reinforcements? The towers! They got too many towers! I suppose dealing with them later on will be a pain in my shell. Though, we could very much trade with them, could we not? At least till our armies are strong enough to colonize them. In this game, there is a more or less simple summary of various production chains. Unlike some later games within the Anno franchise, this thing here is literally all there is. In the food production segment, the Hunter's Lodge costs 5 gold and makes 2 tons per cycle. Fisher's Hut costs 5 and makes 1.5 tons per 6 fields. And to be specific here, 6 free water tiles. The cattle farm costs 5 gold each, as you will need 2 to supply 1 butcher, which costs 5 gold and in turn makes 2.3 tons of food per cycle. As for the bread chain, it will cost you 35 gold per chain in total, which includes 4 wheat farms, 2 windmills, or water mills, and 1 bakery, which will produce 3 tons of food per cycle. You may wonder, how long is the cycle? And as far as I managed to find out, it is not a specific time frame, though usually it does hold around a minute's length. Now, I could get into the same detail with the other productions, but to be honest, it will matter little, for there isn't an easy way to constantly track how much resources you are producing and consuming in accords to your island population. But I will show you the ratios where applicable. For your beginning cloth production, you need 2 sheep farms per 1 weaver's hut. For the alcohol, 2 sugarcane farms per 1 distillery. Alternatively, once unlocked, 2 wineries is a near equivalent. For tobacco, you need 2 tobacco plantations per 1 tobacco factory. Cotton plantation produces 1 ton more of wool than a sheep's farm. So if you have 6 sheep farms supply 3 weavers' huts, then you'd only need 4 cotton plantations as alternative. Oh, and the weavering mill essentially operates nearly like 2 weavers' huts. Though I must admit, it's more of a 75% increase and not a double. As for ore-related, I have generally found 1 gold mine supplies 2 goldsmiths, 1 iron ore supplies 1 smelter, One smelter supplies 2 tool makers. With the weapon production, one iron smelter only seems to supply either one single swordsmith, or one gunsmith, or one cannon foundry. Now, with all that out of the way, let's actually get back to the gameplay. I, unfortunately, do have to admit that narrating the entire 4-hour-long recording of the game will drive us insane. Let alone just even simply editing that much footage will be a ridiculous task for a solo crab as myself. And depending on a random possibility, there's a high chance further videos will be recorded with the founder's voice. Yes, the very founder of the Crabtastic Co., the very one who has granted me own knighthood. You know, the guy with a real voice. So, as I was saying, I am being honest and transparent. And as far as for me, Sir Krabby, I can't talk forever, unfortunately, and that would really exceed the very much slippery budget costs that we got already. But fear not, for the crustacean will still be a trusty, crabtacular companion on the adventures. I ain't planning to retire anytime soon.
Several hours later.
So, with that being said, the video shall be speed up. For there is an awful lot of extra clicking happening here and there, due to the game, of course, having a rather older interface. I mean, the amount of clicks happening there. Bah, I barely even click-clack me own claws that much and that often. Either way, here in the beginning of the very first settlement,
which I must admit, we shall canonically declare as Crabbington.
Our main priorities have been getting the basic production chain set up, while largely purchasing tools from the sailing-by neutral trader. If only he was faster. He'd be sailing slower than a sea turtle swims. For the very first needs that we managed to satisfy, it was only but a simple cloth/fabric production. And of course, food. With that sorted, immediately we upgraded to next tier. The upgrades are done automatically, as long as we toggle the supply of upgrade materials on. Right away, we build our alcohol production, which, it is absolutely screwed, because there is only 50% fertility of sugarcane on the island. This means instead of 2 farms, we need entire 4. Sweet Neptune, why you be so cruel? Simultaneously, the tobacco farms were being built as well, and at least they have a 100% fertility.
Many hours later.
Now, to further increase our tax revenue, and of course fulfill the need for next upgrades or population, we shall sail off just to our southwest. We are lucky, for the island has perfect spice fertility, and that is exactly what we shall be colonizing it for. You might have also noticed the land trader wiggling his human leggies back and forth between the most north marketplace and the tribal village. They seem to be happily buying some of the basic goods, food and fabric being the main focus for now. There is little reason for us to buy tobacco from them, for we can easily produce enough of it ourselves. But gold? Gold! Gold! Oh, my precious gold! We certainly will have to buy it. Despite their tribal-like civilization, they seem to have a good hang on monopolizing the entire bloody mountain range. We could attempt settling on the other side and building a mine of our own.
1 week later.
Now it appears that upon our southern island, there is yet another tribal settlement. These uncivilized humans are everywhere. And yet here we are, a crab-lead colony, their crustacean leader being far more advanced than them. However, we won't be interacting with them. There is very little reason to do so, to be honest. But what we will be doing is finally setting up the spice supply.
One eternity later.
At last, we have now reached the third tier of our crabtastic citizens. Ain't it time to grab a ye-old rum that we have painfully been trying to produce? Celebrations are due! Alas, no time for that. Not when our wallet about to run dry. However, we are setting up ourselves a tool production chain, which will relieve the need for spending an absurd amount of our precious gold on it.
Later.
I must admit, for the pirates have been quite the pickling critters of the ocean. Yes, yes, these pesky barnacles have not stopped circling round and round our settlement, which is rather not good. Nope. Constantly building new ships is a bit of a nuisance, but despite the issues at hand, we have settled the other side of the island. Now, as much as I've spoke of money before, money, it is not the priority. Not, even though we nearly broke. Our priority is the wine fertility that this half of the continent has. Thus, with vineyards, we will completely disregard the need for sugarcane farms and distilleries. And as long as our ships don't get sunk on this short trade trail, we shall bathe wine, shower in wine, drink wine, sleep in wine. Even the sky will turn into wine. And while we're speaking of the other side of the mountain, hello from the other side! So what was I saying? Yes! So, I originally planned to establish a gold mine, but one little detail I have missed. The huge continent is actually two custom islands, seamlessly merged into one. There is no actual way to set up a land trade in between then. And more so, the mountain with the gold deposit, by the game mechanics, counts as the one on our original side, the east side. Oh well, looks like more trading it is. Until we colonize. We have reached the end of this video. Now I know that Anno 1602 isn't for everyone's taste, considering the game came out like over 2 centuries ago. However, it was something where we, Crabtastic Co., could get the hang of make the videos for our little beginner heads. I am absolutely delighted if you stayed to the end, my sweet little land cucumbers. I absolutely urge you to leave a comment under the video and let us know what you thought of the first attempt. How was my performance? Would you like to see the continuation of this world? At point of making this video, the first DLC of Anno 117, The Prophecies of Ash, is just days from releasing. And once it is, I will certainly skip right forward to the wonderful newest game of the franchise and explore what the huge volcanic island has to offer. I wonder how many sea snails we will be able to collect upon the shores of Latium, and how many wretched barnacles we ought to face. At that, I thank you once again. At your service, Sir Krabby the Second and a Half. Until the next time, raise the sails!